혹시 자리가 불편하면 여기 책상 있는 쪽에 와서 앉게 되거든요. 네. 그러면은 시간이 좀 지났기 때문에 시작을 하겠습니다. 항상 그 외국인 학생들도 있고 외국인 교수님도 있고 해서 이제까지 영어로 하는 것이 약간 트래디션이 됐습니다. 그래서 일단 영어로 하고 혹시 질문이나 편하게 우리말로 하셔도 되고요. 중간중간에 좀 빨리 진행을 할 건데요. 이제 중간중간에 혹시 정말 긴급한 질문이 있다고 하면 언제든지 손을 들어주시기 바랍니다. While we are having dinner, we prepared this menu for you today. We're going to show what we are doing at STP. We usually have a special introduction session for the graduate program once a year or twice a year, but starting from 2011, we started to have two information session for STP minor programs, because the first 2 weeks are kind of a course shopping period, at the same time being deadline for declaring your minor. So this session is prepared to help you think about our program. We're going to show this interesting parody of what STP minor is later. So before starting, we're going to start with the welcome remark by our department head, Professor Hong-Sun Park.
Welcome. And it seems like I have to say a few more words. And actually, coming down here, I was thinking welcoming message in Korean. But I realized that I have to do it in English. And 와주셔서 감사드리고요. I have 3 things to say to you. First, which is about what is STP, especially what is STP minor program to you. And the first thing that I want to say is STP is all about something new. And we are trying to bring something new to campus, to scientists and engineers. And then the something new, the second and third is something new is coming from courses. We are offering new courses each semester, and even in the same course we are incorporating something new. And also in research, there is a possibility for undergraduate students to participate in research experience and getting to know STP a bit better. And so something new and new courses and new research opportunities. That's something that I can say. And thank you very much.
Thank you. We prepared this information session this time with the TAs and RAs for TA and teaching assistants and research assistants. One of them suggested we particularly need to stress why we need a program like this. So we have thought long about why we needed a program like this at KAIST. Of course, we want to do science and technology right, and also we want to see science and technology done right. And finally, we want to build a society, a better society where we can really freely enjoy scientific activities and technology development. And also we want to build a better society with also what we are learning right now, which is science and technology. And this is really interesting. I wonder whether you have seen this video clip, but I'll show some interesting segment of this clip which really addresses why we need something new, some program like this. is the gate for.
And I'd like to ask senior engineers, can you make lots of money in engineering?
선배 과학자들께 여쭤보고 싶은 건 정말 과학을 하면서 자신의 이상을 실현했는지 그런 걸 물어보고 싶어요.
어떻게 하면 좀 사회를 좀 발전시킬 수 있을까라는 생각을 좀 해주셨으면 좋겠다는 생각이 있었고요. 선배 과학자들에게 하고 싶은 것은 정말 자기가 하고 싶은 일을 하고 있는지입니다.
공학을 통해서 궁극적으로 하고 싶은 게 무엇이냐를 좀 묻고 싶습니다.
우선 여자 선배 과학자분들에게 나중에 미래에 어떻게 나중에 가정이 생겼을 때 어떻게 그 둘 사이에서 선택하였는지 그런 점들을 꼭 묻고 싶고요.
이제 앞으로 제가 나중에 40, 50대가 되었을 때 이제 저는 여자니까 이제 그런 식으로 이제 나중에 제 커리어를 어떻게 꾸려나가야 될까 이런 게 가장 궁금하고요.
선배 과학자에게 꼭 묻고 싶은 것은 지금 행복하세요?
너무 재밌다. 그 보람이 있다.
That's it. This is a relatively short video, which I really recommend you have some time to take a look at this. I'm very, very impressed, and this video asks an interesting set of questions about why we do science, why we have come here, and also what we are expecting in the future. And all these interesting questions we want to ask the previous generations of scientists and engineers, and Professor Lee, who is currently the admission office, leading the admission office. Before he was also the head of student affairs. And his answer as your how to say, I just forgot the Korean word, but it's fun, interesting, but also we want to. In the end, we want to really live in a society where everybody really has a chance to better oneself to the maximum degree, and lots of interesting questions that we can ask while studying at STP. And these are some of such questions. For instance, Fukushima accident, nuclear power, how safe is safe enough? And there are lots of interesting questions that we are addressing at the graduate program, but at the undergraduate level, we are just beginning some basic tools and theories with which we can really go into the details of all policy-related questions for science and technology. And right now we have lots of students, about 50, representing all different fields, almost all different departments. And we also have interesting group of faculty. The middle people are more or less core faculty teaching courses every semester. And we also have people from outside, previous ministers, and also younger faculty members. You can see more information on our website, STP website. And we are not just studying, but we are doing lots of interesting fun activities. It's also alive, not only studying science, technology, policy. For curriculum, as you probably know, you need to take at least 33 credits, meaning if we consider 3 credits as just one course, at least you're taking 11 courses, but you shouldn't be obtaining no more than 98 credits, because if you are declaring your minor just too late, you wouldn't be really having time to finish all the requirements. So this is just a very minimum condition. And we have 2 types of credits. One course credit, you should accumulate 18 credits, so 6 courses, and we have only one mandatory course, STP 230 ST policy, and up to 3 courses you can double count these 3 courses with other requirements, major, minor, or liberal arts requirement. I'm going to explain more on research credits later. And now this is the set of courses we are offering this semester. As the head said, we have a couple of new courses. One, Utopia and Dystopia. And we have prepared a short introduction or a kind of advertisement each course by the faculty and TA pair. So we're we're going to start with Professor John's class.
This is a sales pitch.
Okay, hi, my name is Jihyang Jang. I'm teaching this semester the course titled The Engineer's Life. We designed this class to help you become better engineers. How do we do that? I can't do that by teaching you mechanics or thermodynamics or electromagnetism, but we can do that by asking you to think about what it means to be an engineer in modern society. What kind of person is the engineer in society, and what does the engineer do, and how should engineers be trained? What do they need to know, and what do they consider when they make engineering decisions in schools and in society? So we'll ask all these questions and really push you to think about these issues seriously and talk with other students and with me and with our TA here. And by thinking through these questions, we hope that you will become better engineers and scientists by thinking and coming up with your own answers to these difficult questions of being an engineer. So let me ask Taun, our TA, to talk a little bit more about our class.
Hello, I'm Taun and I'm second year bachelor student in STP, and I'm currently a teaching assistant for the class The Engineer's Life. And I think Professor John already talked about most of the things that what we do in our class. But since this is the setting time for our class, let me tell you some good points about our class. Actually, this is a photo that we took this morning in the class. As you see, some students are talking about their opinion. So there is no lecture in this class. And some, but yeah, that's not the big part. I have no right to determine anything. He has rights. Anyway, basically, for most of students who already took STP class, they would know that they need to write a lot. But for this class, since we only have 4 students now, I mean currently, officially 6 students are registered, but for now we have 4 or 5 students, so you don't have to write response paper, but instead you have to speak a lot. You have to express your opinions on a certain topic a lot. And that's the best part of our class, actually. And what else? Yeah, please register a lot. We only have 4 or 5 students.
Actually, I enjoy small classes. So we have 6 now, but I don't mind having a few more. But I don't want like 100 student class. So actually, like small classes, and then each student needs to speak a lot and express themselves about what they think about engineering and engineers. So if you like to think about these questions and talk about them with your colleagues, then please come to our class.
Thank you. This class intro will be utopia and dystopia. 2 gentlemen looking like each other.
Yes, we are. We're brothers. Good evening. I'd like to introduce myself very briefly. I'm Grant Fisher, and I'd just like to start off by asking you a very simple question. Who here today is not interested in the future? That should be nobody, right? So why not join my class? And to tell you a little bit more about my class, I'm not going to tell you because you're here from professors all the time, all day. I'm going to hand you over to my TA, Dayan, who's going to tell you more about utopia and dystopia.
Thank you. Despite what has been said, I'm Korean. And I'm Korean. That's a very important thing. Because, yeah. Anyways, utopia and dystopia is basically going to talk about the positive and the negative visions about the future. So, in order to talk about the future, we also have to understand the present society or the past society in order to understand the future. And of course, all of you are students at KAIST who study science and engineering. So science and technology is having a lot more roles in the society than ever before. So we try to integrate that with the study of how people think about the future in a positive and negative ways. So we could ask things like, how would human beings would consider themselves in the future? Would we still be human after 50 years and 100 years? Would we still call ourselves human, or would we call ourselves something else? Well, there's a student that takes our class, so he might know. And then you might also think that since Professor Fisher is teaching it, this is a philosophy course. It's not. I personally don't really get philosophy myself either, so do not worry. He prepared a lot of different sources to guide us through the course. So he's going to draw principles from disciplines like politics and literature, and we are also going to watch some movies. So please don't hesitate to register. It's only the second week, so there's still time. And last but not least, I'm a wonderful person and a great TA. So I'll buy your coffee if you ask me. So, yeah, that's that. Thank you very much.
Okay, the next class intro is scientific policy. That's my class, but since I'm leading this session, I'll just go away.
Hi everyone, I'm not a professor, I'm just small TA. And TAs and professors before me try to sell their classes, but let me do it with different approach. Because this is mandatory course, so how many response papers do we require, or how much this course is demanding, you guys have to take anyway. But there must be, but this is good course. I'm not gonna demand like hundreds of response papers, so do not worry. And there must be a reason for our faculties make this course mandatory. I thought science developed by itself, but actually it wasn't. And our society put a lot of resources and effort to develop it. And if you wonder who and how that decision has been made, join this course. You can know the answer. And well, a lot of different courses have their own view to science technology policy, but I think this course is only course that had really wide view to STP, so you can learn a lot of different aspects of STP. So whether you are minor student or not, if you're interested, this is quite good course for introductory class for science and technology policy. So this is good course, sweet course.
He forgot to mention one critical thing that I asked him to stress. this is the only course that has policy in the tag, except those special topics courses. Okay. The next one is science in the public.
Hi, I'm the TA of the class named Science in the Public. And first and foremost, since the class is done by Korean, so I will speak in Korean to introduce the class. 네, 감사합니다. 실상은 제가 한국어 편해서 그냥. 근데 먼저 제 소개를 다시 하면 저는 신유정이라고 하고요. 저는 STP 석사과정 2년차에 재학 중인 학생입니다. 그리고 제가 지금 조교를 맡고 있는 클래스는 저 뒤에 박민아 교수님께서 앉아 계신데 저는 교수님의 과학과 대중 수업입니다. 먼저 이 수업을 소개하기에 앞서서 저도 STP 부전공을 했었는데요. 제가 당시에 부전공 할 때는 부전공 한 사람들이 매우 작아서 설명이 하면 다 아는 사람들이 있었는데 이렇게 다 새로운 얼굴을 보니 교수님 말대로 제가 좀 그랬다고 봅니다. 제가 어떤 과목을 선택할 때 뭘 가장 생각을 했을까라고 고민을 하면서 무슨 이야기를 한번 해볼까 생각을 해봤는데요. 일단 과학과 대중이라는 수업은 그 제목에서도 약간 느끼실 수 있듯이 좀 재밌게 대중이랑 과학을 가지고 놀아보자 하는 수업입니다. 그러니까 대중은 누굴까라는 질문에서부터 대중과 함께 무엇을 해야 할까라는 질문까지 다양한 과학과 대중에 관련된 수업 이야기를 다루는데요. 많은 조교님들께서 나오셔서 셀링을 하시는데 바쁘시지만 저희는 뭐 굳이 이미 충분한 학생들이 있으므로 당당하게 뭐 굳이 안 오셔도 되지만 굳이 과학과 대중과 함께 즐거움을 찾아보시겠다면 오시는데 막지는 않겠습니다. 네, 그리고 기본적으로 오시면 교수님께서 렉처 위주로 많이 말씀을 해주시고요. 그 외에 가장 중요하게 제가 지금 한국어로 이야기하고 있듯이 그래서 지금 날아다니고 있듯이 한국어로 오셔서 STP에 관해서 이야기할 수 있는 몇 안 되는 코스이니 기회를 꼭 잡으시면 좋을 것 같습니다. 네, 그리고 뭐 궁금한 사항은 자세한 사항은 여기서 길게 이야기해봤자 기억 못 하실 것 같고 제게 메일을 주시면 언제든지 답을 드리도록 하겠습니다. 네, 감사합니다.
Thank you very much. The last course is by our newest faculty, only used till this fall because we're going to have another new faculty member, Professor Injungli's class, Environment and Society.
My TA, okay.
Hello everyone, my course is titled Environment and Society, and a key question that we are dealing with throughout the semester is why we need to think about environment and society together. And it is about questions that you encounter on a daily level. For example, can I please? Okay. Sorry. Right, the technology is not really helping. Like one of the question is, that's okay. Okay, one of the question is, say, when you're thirsty, would you like to go to a store and buy bottled water, or would you rather go to a bathroom and then get tap water? If you're uncomfortable drinking tap water, why? What's the problem there? Or if you happen to be the last person who leaves the room today, then yes, just a moment. Would you make sure that you turn off all the lights in this classroom? So these are very small questions, but very important questions that you have to answer on a daily basis. Well, after you graduate from KAIST and say you have a job, would you like to go to your workplace by car, or would you consider biking to your place? So all these are small questions. At the same time, they are very big questions. If you want to go to your workplace by bike, you might have a lot of problems that stop you from doing that. And for that, you need a kind of system. For example, We need a certain system of technology, like bike traffic lights, where we need policies that encourage people to bike instead of choosing a car. So it is about policy questions, it is about social system, it is about building a new technology system, and it is also about global politics, like UN or UNESCO has World Water Day. So does everyone in this world have free access to water? If not, what should we do about resolving the problem? So environmental society is about small questions, at the same time big questions. And if you find out answers to these questions, you might want to check out the course. And the last part of our commercial comes from our TA, Jaejun. So Jaejun is probably going to give a testimony, like what did we learn last week, say, in the first week?
It's very hard to me. But last week, so the professor explained about the general curriculums or some kind of things. And for example, last week we talked about do you know Rachel Carson's Silent Spring, the book? Yeah, so we had talked about the book, and in that book there are some kind of stories about DDT, and but that story is not just interaction between environment and DDT, but there are many more factors that affect those kind of interactions, such as some kind of policies or many stakeholders like many other countries. So we had talked about those kind of things, and maybe other classes after this week, maybe there are many more interesting things. Maybe yeah, I'm not preparing class, so maybe Professor knows that. Yeah. So yeah. So also I want to explain that our class we're gonna handle very interesting things. So and our professor set our class capacity very plenty amount. So if you want to join this class, you can freely enter this class right now with your cell phone. So so if you have an interest with this class, you can join us and we can talk about interesting things. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. This time it was kind of a new experience because so far always professors used to introduce courses, but this time we gave a challenge to the TA. It was a kind of competition for better ed, better commercial for your course. Colloquium, this is a regular event held every semester. Before it used to be on Monday, but this semester it's starting on Thursdays, almost every Thursday, typically bi-weekly, but the poster will be available very soon, so you can check the precise schedule from the poster. And also STP minor students can get a credit. It's not pass or fail, it's letter grade, so perhaps it's really maybe one of the easiest courses just by attending. You can just get that attending the seminar. And these are some of the artistic posters last year in 2012. And we have, as the department had mentioned at the beginning, we have a number of research opportunities. Before I used to say a couple of, but now we have a number of opportunities. One, we are having more and more funded projects, so you can work as an RA. And you might be wondering what you are going to do as an RA. Very different types of work. Sometimes you visit the archive and interview people, and sometimes it's some manual work. And undergraduate research program, as you probably have heard of this, it's of course funded by the university. And the difference from other departments at STP, students are like PIs, not the professors. So you really are true PIs, choosing your own research topic and also implementing your own research design. Of course, that under the supervision of the advisor. And lastly, we have also individual research credit. And these are some of the projects. These are completed projects, as you can see from the titles. We are broadly covering most areas of science and technology, R&D funding, science, culture, and also these are the current projects. And I took that video clip from the science, Daejeon as a laboratory for science culture. The website is there. There are lots of interesting interviews and also video clips there. And these are the URPs done at STP and also with the STP professors. As you can see at the beginning, we mostly, department head and me are the two oldest people here. So that's why we have a number of our URPs done mostly under our supervisions, but now you can see increasingly more diverse advisors and lots of interesting topics which really address very interesting and also important issues on campus, especially for example, in my case, I did a very important policy, really campus policy. For instance, KAIST new admission policy. Probably you all enjoyed with the new admission policy. And also internship opportunities. We have 2 internship opportunities in winter and summer. If you are interested, you will be applying at least some months before the vacation. And this is the form. And here you need to specify where you want to work instead of just asking us to assign you to a particular institution. Because we really like to appreciate your preference and we're going to contact the institution you are interested in. And at the end, you're going to write a report. It's not just small kind of paperwork. It's more a thoughtful reflection of what you did. And this internship report was posted on our website. This student just finished the internship last winter at the National Science Museum, just very close to here, right? And she learned quite a lot about the science of public relationship, and this I just took from her internship report. And I think that's probably all we have. And from now on, we're going to have a question and answer session, not by me, but by Professor Lee. But if you are more interested in getting more information, of course, you always have this information. You can get the information on the website, but I think a better way is just to simply ask one of our faculty members or graduate students. Okay? So just feel free to ask any questions, both in English and also in Korean.
Sure. I think there's one mic at the back, and do we have another mic? So if you raise your hand, then probably one of the graduate students will approach you to give a mic to you. Yes, just a moment.
I'm very sorry.
Getting old.
I just missed 2 things. One, if you get the front, oh my God. We always used to have one speech by the student, but interestingly, the student who is supposed to present actually realized that he was forgotten.
Glad that was not forgotten completely. It's okay because this is going to be a very short introduction about STP Minor. My name is Sung Kim, and I'm a student in STP minor program. And I was told that it was going to be a 5-minute speech, but it's supposed to be 3 minutes, so I'm going to be extremely brief. And I'd like to introduce myself first. I'm an undergraduate at KAIST, and I study chemistry as my major, and STP is my minor. Today I'd like to talk about 3 questions. It'll be very brief, but I hope it will be very useful to make your choices to whether or not you're going to join STP minor or not. The first is, every question can be characterized by 1 words. First is why, what, and how. So first question is, why did I choose STP minor? So there are a lot of minor programs or like double major programs in KAIST, but why STP is the perfect for me. To answer this, I'd like to go back in time for like 3 or 4 years ago because I'm now a senior. When I was a freshman, I really wanted to understand the world better, and I thought that as a graduate of like a gifted school of science, I thought that science is the only way to understand the world better. So I studied physics, chemistry, biology as a freshman and even a sophomore. And I think I get some grasp about why scientific practice. It was huge, just mountainous. But I get this feeling that I cannot answer the questions that I really wanted to know. For example, I really know how to make recombinant DNA or how to make GMOs, but just accumulating this kind of fact doesn't give me any idea of how to deal with ethical or political part of the GMO problems. So I thought this is the time for me to change the way of studying. So that is the time when I found the STP. So and personally, I thought that this placing the science in a broader context, in political, social, ethical, and even environmental point of view. So I was really thrilled to find this program because I thought that STP can solve my questions that I really wanted to know, the kind of question that was ethically and environmentally concerning. So this is why I joined the STP program. And the second is what did I learn in STP minor? Since STP is quite different from other minors in KAIST, it has different objectives and different methodologies. And I'd like to first talk about objectives of STP program, but I felt the other minor programs or double major programs are more about accumulating ideas, learn about science and technology, but I thought STP is more about connecting those ideas like technology and policy or ethics, laws, and economics. How does other knowledges interact? How can you connect this to knowledges, and what can be found in between those subjectives or boundaries? And in order to study this, we have a different kind of methodologies. When you go to science and technology courses, you basically solve questions and use equations or something like that. But in STP, I felt that it was more about communication and reading, writing. It was more about joining into the courses and doing what I was thinking and showing what I was thinking. So I think this is the main difference between the science, technology, policy courses and other courses, and this is what I've learned through these courses. And finally, how did STP minor change me? I think I can say this in 3 different levels. First, as a KAIST undergraduate, I can broaden my career choices. At first, I think I was only going to be a chemist. Chemistry was only my field. But after STP, I just realized that there are enormous amount of jobs, opportunities that are related with science and technologies without being a researcher. So as Professor Kim said before, we have STP with KAIST STEP or every institution, something like that. And I thought it was a very good choice for me to come to STP and find out there are more opportunities in science and technology. And before being an undergraduate student, as a student, I changed my habit of thinking. Before that, I was just accumulating my ideas, but now it is more about connecting them. When I learn something, I try to connect this idea with that idea, and it gives me real intellectual new way of thinking, and this quite a good experience. And finally, as a person, I try to be more thoughtful, even in being a scientist or a student researcher. when I study, like when I in the individual study in chemistry department, I try to think whether or not my study, even if it's very small, would have some like consequences, ethical consequences or something like that. So it's a big change for me as a person. So I think it'd be very helpful if you come to join the STP classes and find that kind of difference together. I'd like to finish with a question. So do you think that science that is right there? I think it's very well designed question because we don't actually know what science is. And I'd like to quote him, Richard Feynman. He said, "If you think you understand quantum mechanics, you don't understand quantum mechanics." I like to just flip that into my kind of version. If you think that you know science, you don't. Sorry, it's a typo. You don't know it because the science is always like connecting the idea with others, like ethics, politics, something like that. So science is not only about knowledge; it's about connecting each other. So I think it will be very helpful for you to join this courses minor and study with me. Thank you very much.
So impressed. Every info session we invite our minor student to make a presentation. Not only the content but also the skills seem to be continually evolving. Okay. Q&A session. Again, you can clearly ask questions in English and also in Korean. So basic information is included in this pamphlet. Also, you could go to the STP website where you could drop by our department office in building N4 on the second floor. But this is a good opportunity for you to ask questions and get answers right away. So please feel free to raise your hand if you have any questions. Who is brave enough to be the first person to ask a question? Yes. And the mic is on its way.
저 학부 신입생인데도 수업을 들을 수 있나요?
He's a freshman. Can he take a course in STP? And the answer is yes. Yes. Very good. Just in 1 second you can get an answer to your question. Yes.
코스를 들 수 있고 STP 마이너 프로그램 부전공 신청은 3학기 지난 다음에. 근데 이 코스 들은 거는 인정이 되는 거죠. 그러니까 지금부터 열심히 들어주면 나중에.
The short answer is yes. Longer version is you can take a course, but you can apply to be a STP minor in your 4th semester, and your credit will be recognized that time. Okay, yes.
비슷한 질문인데요. 콜로키움 관련해서 세미나 확장으로 세미나랑 같은 건가요?
Yes.
그러면은
I didn't answer. You go ahead.
그러면은 저도 학부 신입생인데 5시 반부터 시작을 하잖아요. 그러면은 목요일날 저희가 격주로 7시부터 질대생 수업이 있는데 뭐 같이 들을 수 있나요? 뭐 시간이 언제부터 언제까지인지.
So the question is about the STP colloquium. This semester, almost every Thursday, we have a colloquium session, and it starts at 5:30 p.m. And officially, it will end by 7 p.m. So from 5:30 to 7. And his question was, he's a freshman, and can he take the course because it's titled STP seminar? So can he take that course? And he has another course at 7 p.m. But is it possible to take the STP course? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. Positive atmosphere. Yes. Third question.
인턴십 프로그램에 학년 제한이 있나요?
학년 제한. Is there any limit to the year of students in terms of applying to be an intern, in terms of to be part of the internship program? So any person at KAIST can apply to the internship program offered through STP. Yes. Thank you.
I want to ask about the career path. What will we become after we do this direction?
Okay, so this question is about career path and what kind of career options will be out there if you take STP as your minor?
Yes.
Okay. The answer can be provided by Professor John.
You haven't answered.
Career path. If you minor in STP, as I said before, you'll be a better scientist and engineer. So you'll get a better science and engineering jobs, of course, because you know more about science and engineering. But that's the easy answer. But then, as you study more in STP and then you get more interested in these questions and you want to take it more seriously, then you might go to the grad school in the STP program or other related programs at the graduate level, and then you might become a researcher in STP or actually go into organizations or research institutes or government agencies and deal with the actual policy issues in science and technology. Or you could go to other paths like journalism or government and consulting related to science and technology issues.
So the answers was you will become better scientist / engineer, or you could go to government, or you could go to graduate programs, you could go to journalism. Also, as our great student presenter mentioned, Sanggun, your name is, yeah, Sanggun mentioned that there are research institutes funded by government. For example, STP. What does STP stand for? Science, Technology, Policy Institute. So there are a good number of research institutes, and some of them are here, right, in Daejeon. Any other questions? STP? If you have no question about STP, you could have 1 or 2 questions about your life at KAIST. We're faculty members. Yes.
I remember Professor Kim telling me I'm taking her class, not ask questions, because I'm already a minor, but I broke that promise, sorry.
Thank you. It was for me.
It's for the benefit of everyone. But I want to ask a question about the internship program, which was mentioned before. Can undergrads, who would be, of course, minors who would be undergrads, can they also apply to government, international organizations such as UN-affiliated organizations such as UNEP and UNDP? And I read on the slides that it was 4 to 8 weeks usually during the vacation time. What sort of work can we do during that internship session, which is relatively short?
So this is a global internship program, like KAIST students who took STP as their minor, and then can they apply to international organizations such as UNDP, UN Development Program, right? UNDP, so UN Development Programs, so I say UNESCO or World Bank. Can they do that? And since it's a 14-week period, 4 to 8 weeks period, what kind of work would this intern do during that time period? And I guess the answer should be provided by Professor Kim.
Since it's such a short period, I don't think you can really work for a long-term project. And so typically what you do is you just get to be affiliated with some short-term research projects depending on the needs of that organization. So you work to find out some information online and compile the data and also create presentation materials. So maybe any undergraduate student is capable of doing such work. As for an international organization internship, I think it needs some long-term planning because it's such a high-level organization. But I know in Seoul there are some regional branches, national branches of international organizations. We haven't had anybody working for international organizations as an intern, but if you are interested, we can plan ahead and at least we can find out some opportunities in the nation, right? But still, of course, international organizations like UNESCO, Korean branch.
여기까지만 들어가면은 우리가 그 인터내셔널 오가니제이션에 보낼 수 있는 그런 건 아닌데 가는 걸 어플라이하는 걸 도와줄 수 있지. 그러니까 어디 가고 싶다 했을 때 STP 마이너 프로그래밍도 이런 쪽에 백그라운드가 있으니까 잘할 거다라는 추천서 써주고 그렇게 할 수. 그러니까 왜냐하면은 그쪽 그 오가니제이션이랑 우리가 온고잉하는 어떤 프로젝트가 있으면은 우리가 그 파트로 해가지고 보낼 수 있는데 알다시피 그 UN과 관련된 그런 어떤 인턴십 프로그램들은 자기네들이 이렇게 오픈해가지고 컴피티션에서 뽑거든요. 그러니까 이렇게 보낼 수 있는 그런 건 딴 데는 우리가 어떤 관련이 있어가지고 이렇게 보내지만 거기는 이제 그런 식으로 하기 때문에 학생들이 가져오면은 우리가 도와준다 생각합니다.
So as some of you probably know, a lot of big international organizations run their own internship programs, and STP doesn't guarantee internship slots there, but we will be able to help you apply to the internship programs and become a better candidate. And if there happens to be an ongoing project between one of the organizations and STP, there's one right now, then you will have a better chance to get involved in those internship projects. And as you probably know, sometimes what's important is not just the details of your assignment as an intern, but your kind of network opportunity. You get to know some people in the organization, and you might be able to utilize the connection at some point in your life. So I guess that would be one of the benefits of the internship programs. Any other questions? Or any tips that graduate students, STP students would like to provide to undergraduate students? We are very good with the timeline, like we are almost done. So if we don't have any burning question, one commercial.
Final commercial. If you need a signature, come to me. I can do it right now. And please join us with your friends. Not only just yourself, and recommend other courses to your friends as well. Thank you.
So the very last piece that we present is entertainment. We want to end this information session with entertainment. So STP graduate students put together some very nice and interesting video clips. So I hope you will enjoy it. It will be running, what's the run time? Like about 2 minutes. Okay, so we are going to watch just some parts of the video.
The circular railway extends 438,000 kilometers and completes one circle every year.
Passengers, I belong to the front. You belong to the tail. Take it off. Curtis, is it time?
Now isn't the time.
Well, when is the time?
Soon. Are you Nan Goodman, Sue? Security specialist? We control the engine, we control the world. It's time we take the engine. Then what? We kill him.
Okay, 2014 thank you all for coming, and if you have any questions, please feel free to stay and then grab one of the faculty members or graduate students. Thank you.